Do you like scary movies? What about true crime? Are you into anything spooky? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Creep It 100.
Hey everybody, welcome to season 2 of Creep It 100. We are back in full force, if you couldn't tell.
Yep.
We are in costumes now.
Yep.
We have a new set.
We have a new set.
We have new mics.
We have smoke.
We have ambiance. We have new cameras.
Yeah, we're looking good. Look it. Hey.
Yeah.
All right, now you do it.
Yeah.
Boom. And now both of us.
Back to the master.
Bam.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I want to start off this season by thanking everyone that shared and donated to our fundraiser. Without you guys, none of this would have been possible, so thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely not. Yeah, almost everything that you're seeing right here is thanks to you guys donating. And we would still probably be at the little round table with one Yeti mic if it was not to do with you guys. So we appreciate you, every single person that donated. And for those of you who continue to support us, we appreciate it. I know that this looks a little less sincere in that makeup that he's got going over there,
But it is very sincere.
Yes.
Check this out. Oh. Whoa.
Oh shit.
Oh.
What's up?
Oh. We can do that because of you guys.
Yeah, facts.
Well, if you haven't put it together, put it together. If you haven't put it together, we are covering It Chapter 1 today.
That's the first joke of the season.
Yes,
Rough.
terrible one.
Rough.
We're starting off not very strong.
Yeah. We'll get better.
We'll get better, I promise. We've been out of it for a while. Yeah, we're covering the 2017 version of It, directed by Andy Muschietti. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Probably not.
It's either Muschietti or Muschietti. I can't. I should have watched interviews before I did this.
That's all right.
It's okay. I watched 6 hours worth of movies before
Yes,
this.
me and you both forgot how fucking long these movies are. Like I watched the first one and I was like, damn. All right, well, time to go to the second one, and then I had to go to work. And I was like, damn. It's taking for all day. I had to watch the last one into like 2 a.m. today.
I was so tired by the time I got done with It Chapter 2.
Did you back to back it?
I back-to-backed it.
That's a long day.
It took all day.
Yeah.
It took all day. Because I have to pause it.
Yeah.
Write down my notes.
Because you're
I have
like
to
analyzing the whole thing.
backtrack. And to be honest, I went through my notes and cut a bunch out just to keep it on time.
Yeah. I bet. Honestly.
That being said, let's jump in. All right, so this takes place in the summer of '89. A group of bullied kids band together to destroy a shape-shifting monster, which disguises itself as Pennywise the Clown, and preys upon the children of Derry in Derry, Maine. That's where it all takes place. It actually opens up in 1988. There's a time jump between the opening scene and then the rest of the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
So it opens with our main character, Bill.
Mhm.
He's sick. He's got a little brother named Georgie. It is pouring rain outside, and Georgie really wants to do something. Bill is sick, so Bill makes him this paper boat.
Mhm.
We'll call it the SS Georgie, because that's what it's called.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
That is what it's called. We'll call it. They called it.
Yeah, that's what they called it. In my notes, I just wrote paper boat, but I'll just keep calling it SS Georgie.
Okay.
So Georgie goes outside in the rain and puts his boat on like the little what would you call it,
Oh shit, the
It's like
curb.
the curb,
The
it's
curb
like the dip
water?
where like it's it's not. I almost said like
That's where the street naturally has like a meniscus. Is that what it's called?
that's in your knee.
What's the one like with water where it like dips? Like when you look at water that's flat, like in a tube, and it like has like a little dip.
I don't know, but meniscus is in your knee.
Meniscus is definitely in your knee.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But it's like the streets are built like where the center of the street is the tallest part of the street
Mhm.
so that water runs to either side and then goes into the grates. So that small part before, like next to the curb and in between the street where water is always rushing down to the sewers.
Not into. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
The
dude.
word?
Yes.
Yeah. Because we had to like, they our science teachers abused us with that word.
Yes. You use it for crops and stuff.
Yeah, it's minutia point.
Whatever. It's a dip in the road
Yeah.
that gets the water to the storm drain.
Yeah.
So Georgie's chasing his boat. He gets stuck behind. He runs into a caution sign, and his boat gets a pretty big lead on him. The boat ends up going into the storm drain, and Georgie tries to chase it, but it's too late. It's down there. So he's like looking down there. He's like, "Oh, my boat! Fuck!"
Yeah, that's what he says in the movie.
Yeah,
He says shit.
direct quote. And then we see Pennywise for the first time. He pops up, and they start having conversations. And Georgie's like, "I'm not really supposed to talk to strangers here." And then Pennywise introduces himself, and he's like, "Now we aren't strangers." Do you remember how mad Aaron got at this scene?
Yeah, he was shadowboxing in the theater.
Yeah. One of our guests, Aaron, when we saw this movie back in 2017, this scene happened, and he was straight up shadowboxing the air.
Yeah, he got pissed at Pennywise. He was ready to fucking beat ass.
Now, the reason he gets pissed at Pennywise is because Pennywise offers up the SS Georgie. Georgie reaches his arm in there to grab it, and Pennywise, there's no other way to put this, he unhinges his jaw and takes his left arm off.
Yep.
That's it. And Georgie tries to crawl away. Yeah, that arm. So Georgie's trying to crawl away. Or is it his right? It's one of them. It's one of his arms. Georgie starts to crawl away, and we see Pennywise's hand come out of the sewer, and it like extends all the way to him.
Yeah,
it's pretty gross.
Go-Go Gadget hands him.
I just rewatched those movies within the last 5 years.
Inspector Gadget?
Yes.
I've never seen them in my life.
Bro. I couldn't remember as a kid, and now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember it now, and I like freshly just rewatched them.
I just remember people saying Go-Go Gadget, so like I was like, oh, whatever.
So Georgie's dead.
Yep.
We get an 8-month time jump, and then we meet our like main group of kids. We meet Mike, who is working at this sheep farm, and this is kind of important. He is using a bolt gun to put down one of the sheep, and he can't do it. He's too humane. And his uncle's like, "Come on." I wrote down the quote. Let's see.
You're either in there, or
You're either in there with the sheep, or you're out here with us, or some shit like
if
that.
you wait too long, someone's gonna make that decision for you.
Correct. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're not gonna know until you get that bolt in between your eyes.
Yeah, something like that.
Paraphrasing a little bit, but that's the thing. I need to put my other arm in here, bro. I'm
Go ahead. Go
going
ahead.
crazy right now.
You're the one. I did not tell him to do that bit. He wanted to.
Right here is so hot right now because I'm just conducting heat.
All right. So after we meet Mike, we then meet the.
God, I feel so much better.
We meet Richie, Eddie, and Stan, and they are all leaving school with Bill, who we have previously met, and they are talking about Stan's upcoming bar mitzvah.
Yeah, where they're gonna chop the tip of his dick off.
Yes. Real funny, real comedic. If you haven't seen the movie, go. What are you doing watching this?
Literally. We told you a week in advance.
Yeah. Probably more.
Probably more.
Too. Because the teaser got posted today.
Of what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I woke up to a ton of notifications on my phone.
Oh, is that what those were? I didn't.
Yeah,
check
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I didn't check them.
Yeah.
I had to worry about my throat. I woke up with the sorest throat I've ever had in my life. Of course, the first day coming back to recording, my throat hurt, bro. I took a drink of water, and I literally swallowed it, and I went, "Ow!" like that out loud to myself, alone in my room because it hurt that bad.
Is it like a tonsil pain?
It's in the back, and I can feel like a little swelling like on this side.
Mm.
But I ate, and then I did like a cough drop, and now I'm like drinking water and shit, and I feel fine. My throat feels fine.
Okay, right on.
So we're good.
After we meet those boys, we meet Beverly, and she's in the bathroom stall smoking a ciggy.
Beverly. I have issues with Beverly in my rewatch. We'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We find out she's kind of getting bullied by it's actually her name's Greta.
Yeah.
And she does come to play later in the movie. So Greta dumps an entire bag of just trash on her after she fills it up with water in the sink.
Mm-hmm. It's
disgusting.
Funny.
It's hilarious.
It's a good prank.
Let's try that on our producer.
Let's try that. Yeah.
We'll do it to Mansfield.
Yeah. Right here is where the text will go at the bottom of the screen. I can imagine something going about right here about how he's gonna beat our ass.
He said it.
Whoa.
So after that scene, we get a really cute moment. We meet Ben.
Okay, yeah.
Who is one of my favorite
that.
characters in the movie.
That, yeah.
Ben and Beverly have a cute moment where she comes out and she's like, "Hey, can I sign your yearbook?" And Ben, he is so into Beverly. Like he is head over heels over this mediocre bitch. Joking.
Over this trash smelling bitch.
After this cigarette smoking, trash smelling.
She literally smells like trash and cigarettes.
Yeah.
And he's like just Google-eyeing her.
He's drooling.
Yeah. He had to wipe his mouth.
On God.
with his diorama.
So she's like, "Hey, what kind of music do you listen to?" And he's like, "Oh, this is New Kids on the Block."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, yeah." So then she signs his yearbook. We see that nobody else has signed it. It's a really sweet moment. And as she's walking away, Ben goes, "Please don't go, girl."
That's another song.
It's another, yeah. I love the New Kids on the Block references in this. It's so funny. All of them hit.
There's one that hits even more than any of the other ones.
Yeah,
It's later.
We'll get to that.
But that is the funniest one, 100%. But they're so funny throughout.
So Bill, Richie, Eddie, and Stan, they're all outside in the front of the school. And this is when we meet Henry Bowers and his gang of demented Draco Malfoy.
Yeah. Roderick.
Yeah, Roderick.
Roderick Heffley.
And then just the average dude you probably went to high school
And
with.
then just Guy.
Just Guy that belch. He burps. Yeah. I think their names, it's Vic is Draco Malfoy.
Hockstetter.
Roderick is Patrick Hockstetter.
Yeah.
And then Belch is the burping one.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That checks. That's good writing.
Yeah.
Now that is good writing.
Damn. They went crazy on that one. They did some.
Yeah, so he comes up to Bill and he's like, "Listen, I gave you a free pass because your brother's dead. Now that the year's over, you're in for a world of hurt. You and your friends." We then see a mom out in the crowd looking for her missing daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgie's not the only one that has missing. There's actually been quite a few. Quite a few people have been fucking victim to the clown.
You said this is 2 years later?
This is 8 months.
Okay.
8 months.
Okay.
So Eddie, Bill, and Richie, they all go hang out. Well, they go to Eddie's house first.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we find out that Eddie's mom is like
Insane.
Overbearingly insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, don't go roll around in the grass because of your allergies and all this shit." And Eddie's a big hypochondriac.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got pills on him all the time. He's got an inhaler.
2 duffel bags.
Or
2 fanny packs.
2 fanny packs worth of medication.
Yeah.
And they're all going to go to the Barrens to hang out / look for Georgie. Stan, on the other hand, is back at the his synagogue, practicing his reading from his Torah.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that he's got this fear of this portrait that's sitting in his dad's office.
Mm-hmm. I would too.
It's a scary portrait of a scary lady, real disfigured.
I didn't like it when we saw it like in theater. Like when they passed the portrait in the first place, I was like, nah. I was like, I would take that shit down immediately. That's so fucking scary. Why is it up there? There's no need. It's a place of worship, and that's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know.
It's like when people like in like churches have super like gruesome bloody pictures of Jesus, and I'm like, yo, it's a little much.
Those used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're really very gruesome. Graphic. And I'm like, this is like, isn't it like it's like positivity laying in here, right? And like that's making me feel crazy. Yeah, that's like the same vibe I got.
I'm glad we've shared in that memory,
that weird
that weird
side eye that we're giving this picture of him being like half eaten by a lion. You're like, all right,
just absolutely bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old self couldn't handle that, dude. So Stan places Tora back in his dad's office, and as he goes back to the portrait, we see the lady's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And she charges him. She comes out of the portrait and charges him. He gets out, but it was horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying. We then cut to the library. Ben is there. He's writing a little poem.
Mm-hmm.
Your hair is winter fire. January embers. My heart burns there too. Classic.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic.
Dash secret admirer.
Oh, yeah.
To Bev.
Dash secret admirer. He's also, on top of writing this poem, he's also researching the history of dairy for some reason.
Oh,
and
true.
he's looking into this mine explosion that happened way back when, and he sees a picture of a kid's head in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on Easter, so it was an Easter egg. It was an Easter egg hunt gone terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 88 kids killed. 106 people killed total.
Yeah. And if you look carefully in the background, there's this old-ass librarian watching him.
Yeah, just posted up, staring.
Posted
at him.
up.
Very scary.
Scary as hell. Because it's Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
We then see a red balloon start floating past Ben. Ben follows it down into the archive basement area.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Easter eggs, smoking Easter eggs. And Ben's like, oh, fuck yeah, let me just follow these Easter eggs down into the archives.
Right.
As he starts to follow him, a headless boy, the headless boy from the picture, comes down the steps. Well, his body does. His head's not there.
Yeah.
And it chases him around the archives.
Yeah.
And then it turns into Pennywise. And I forget what he says.
Oh, fuck yeah, he does. He, like, shouts something really quick.
Yeah.
Isn't it just like
Egg boy.
Yeah, egg boy. That's what it is.
Just came to me.
I was gonna say hey Ben really loud.
Yeah, egg boy.
Egg boy, yeah.
He then runs into the librarian, causing the whole vision sequence to stop. Ben's freaked out, so he runs the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs right out of the library into Henry Bowers and his gang. So they take him, they snatch him, and they take him over to like this...
The kissing bridge.
The kissing bridge.
And then when he ran out there, they said, hey, tits.
Yeah. Hey, tits. My dad loves that scene.
That's such
probably his
audience.
most quoted movie is, and it's just because of that. It's just because of that.
There's a lot of really fucking good quotes in this movie that are just funny as hell.
Oh yeah, this movie's great.
It's so funny. And like, it's such a nice back and forth between like making me laugh actually very hard and then actually being like very scary. And I love that.
This movie had the perfect balance of that.
Yeah.
The perfect balance of that. I keep forgetting I have makeup on, and when I look into the monitor there, I'm like,
Like, damn, I look white.
yeah, I'm washed out.
Yeah. I like it because a lot of horror movies try to do the comedy thing now, and it just doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
It flops so often.
Megan worked,
Megan was good with it. Yeah.
which is now out on digital
Really?
as of fucking yesterday.
Yeah. But this one was the first one to do it right, and then a lot of people I think tried to follow it, and then it didn't land.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Megan, hopefully people have got the formula back, and they can actually start doing it. We'll have to see with Scream. Sometimes
One can
Scream's
hope.
fans. Yeah.
One can hope.
We'll see.
I was gonna start just talking about Scream, but like
Yeah,
this movie's a long one.
Yeah.
So Henry takes him to like this area where there's a road and there's a steep hill going down into the Barrens.
Yeah.
And Henry's got Ben pushed up against this fence, and he's threatening to carve his name into Ben's stomach with his dad's like switchblade.
Mm-hmm.
He starts to do it too. He gets the whole H in.
Yeah.
And Ben kicks Henry. He falls back. Ben falls back over the fence, down the hill.
Yeah.
Henry and the gang chase him down, and they start stumbling. Henry loses his knife. So Henry and Vic stay behind to look for the knife, and he tells Patrick and Belch to go chase after Ben. So they do. Meanwhile, we then see Eddie, Bill, and Richie going into the storm drain to look for Georgie, and they find Betty Ripson's shoe. Really funny scene, actually.
It is very sunny with the gray water.
Yeah. It's gray water. Do you know what that is? It's basically piss and shit.
What is
Do you Do you even know what a staph infection is? I'll show you a staph infection. It's a really good. That's exactly how my friends and I acted at that age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they did a really good job of representing how I acted when I was 12.
Finn Wolfhard killed it
Oh, yeah.
in that role.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a Pennywise laugh if I've ever fucking heard one.
Dude,
Jesus.
that wasn't even on purpose.
It's the makeup.
It's probably how tight this costume is.
Just forcing laughter
Just
and
forcing
higher pitch.
laughter out.
Just forcing you to be 3 octaves up.
So this quote keeps going back in the movie. Stan's like, this isn't fun. Like, we're supposed to be having fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I wrote down the exact quote.
Okay.
It's summer. We're supposed to be having fun. This isn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill's like, if I was Georgie, I would want to be looked for too. And then Ben shows up, covered in blood,
Splashing about.
splashing about. And the rest is history. That's it for it, chapter 1, guys.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next week.
No, they become friends. Meanwhile, Patrick thinks Ben is in the storm drain.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in there, and he's got like his hairspray and a lighter. And he's using a handmade flamethrower to like search around, and he runs into like zombies,
Yeah.
and they start chasing him. They chase him to like this dead end of the storm drain where like there's a grate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see a balloon come up to him that says, I heart dairy. It pops. Pennywise is behind it. He charges at him and eats him.
Mm.
Rest in peace, Patrick Hockstetter.
Yep. See you.
Loaded diaper, just disbanded, baby.
Done. The band's over.
The band broke up that day. We then get a little bit of insight on Beverly and her father. And these scenes really aren't easy to watch, to be honest.
They're not.
Kind of probably could be a little hard to listen to for some.
Yep.
So
Definitely small warning right here.
small
going
trigger
into
warning
this.
for sexual abuse, essentially.
Yep.
Bev's mom has passed, and her dad sees a lot of his wife in her in a not so great way.
Yeah.
He like caresses her and touches her and says, "Are you still daddy's little girl?" And all this really creepy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bev ends up having a meltdown. She cuts her hair real short
Mhm.
because she knows that her dad's not going to like that.
Because she knows it's gonna, which he does later, is she knows that it's gonna make her look like a boy.
Yeah.
And so that he's not gonna want to do anything.
Yeah.
And later he like even says like, "Why'd you do this to your Bevy? Why'd you do this to your hair? Makes you look like a boy."
Yeah.
And
Are you still my little girl? And it's
it's
God,
tough.
yeah,
It really was like in the rewatch of that, I was really like, it made me just as uncomfortable as the first time watching those scenes. They're so hard to get
it
through.
just makes me feel so bad for
It's
Beverly.
very fucking icky.
It's
the
gross.
whole scene.
Yeah.
All of those scenes.
I'm going to backtrack because I totally glanced over a scene that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
They go to a pharmacy. This is right before the whole Bev dad scene, by the way.
Okay.
They go to the pharmacy. Beverly's there buying tampons. And they run in trying to patch up Ben.
Because he has the big H carving him.
Yeah,
on
he's
the
got a
bridge.
big H. He's bleeding. So Beverly's like, let me distract the pharmacist so you guys can steal this because they don't have enough money. So she goes,
Ew. Also a
really gross scene. Yeah.
Which the pharmacist also is Greta's dad.
Yeah, Greta's dad is the pharmacist.
The one that bullied the shit out of Bev in the beginning. It's her dad.
So Beverly goes up to him and she like starts like flirting with him just to get him distracted, but he's like really into it.
Yeah, he flips it and gets like way too into it.
She says that you look like Clark Kent in those glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And then she takes the glasses and tries them on. And he goes, "Whoa, you look like Lois Lane."
he
goes, "My."
It's so nasty. The way he like looks at her, it's like so gross.
Yeah.
They couldn't have found a worse looking man to do that scene.
Oh, perfect casting in these movies, by the way.
Oh God.
Perfect casting in these movies. Really gross man.
I can't imagine like I guess maybe you would have a little more of an insight on it than I, but like I can't imagine being cast in one of those roles and having to act like that so that two dickheads like us can talk about you in a basement. Like that seems like the worst fate of all time.
I had this is similar. I had shot a movie where my character had a scene where he was supposed to essentially force this girl to have sex with him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so uncomfortable. And this was the first day I'd met my co-star.
Oh, Jesus.
First day, and we're shooting that scene.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the weight of the room feels like when you're doing something like that.
Not great.
Because there's literally no room.
The
for
director was
jokes,
like, "Listen, I know
anything
this is
like
the first time you're meeting, and I know, like this is a really, really heavy scene."
Yeah.
He said, "I can get the crew out of this room, and it can
Oh.
just be us."
that. Okay.
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I'm
It's nice
used-
that he offered that though.
It's really nice. I was really uncomfortable with the scene,
mm-hmm.
but we did it,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out really great. It turned out great. Yeah, and I like watching it back. I was like, "Oh my god, I would have never known that was our first scene together."
Interesting.
I think the fact we were so uncomfortable made it work.
Yeah. That probably helped a lot on her end.
Yeah. Oh,
At
big
least.
time.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. I can't imagine just like doing something like that. Like,
Now we're like now we're all friends.
yeah, I'd hope.
He invited me back for another movie.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. I'm wearing Freddy Krueger socks
Get
and
them.
Jason socks.
Get the fucking socks out the shot.
I need to get comfortable for this, bro.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, because it's about to get heavy.
Right. Okay, yeah. So they help him, hamburger helper.
Yeah, something I really like about this movie, and during this scene you can see it, is Pennywise is just in the background
For hella scenes.
for a hella scene.
He was in another one that we glossed over earlier too. He was in the library scene twice. Did you know that? He was the woman in the back, and then when he's looking through the book and there's this big shot of like the school picture, he's one of the kids. Yeah.
I didn't.
He's
see
in the
that.
back. He's like it's him. It's very clearly him, but like it's almost like a what's that called where you take the picture and it takes a long time to take the picture?
Long
So
exposure.
Yeah, it's like a long exposure of him like going like that. So like you can see like the scar moving across, but like yeah, he's one of the kids if you like zoom in.
That's
I just saw that the other day.
actually crazy.
Yeah. But they just put him in the fucking movie all the time, which is awesome.
It's amazing.
I love looking for those.
By the way, they all invited during the whole pharmacy scene that we were just talking about. They invite Beverly to go to the quarry because that's where they're all going tomorrow. I only have 5 pages of notes for this.
That's impressive.
I know.
It's very impressive.
Especially for how long
Usually it's a
this movie is.
packet.
I know. It's not too bad.
Actually, no, we don't have to start. We don't have to stop for break anymore
Oh yeah. So
because all of our sponsors dropped us. No.
yikes.
Yeah. Imagine. No, you'll hear from them right now.
So after they're having a good time at the quarry, Richie goes through Ben's bag and sees all these newspaper articles and clippings about just crazy shit that's happened over Derry.
Mhm.
Ben then explains that people disappear 6 times the national average in Derry,
Mhm.
and that he thinks the town's cursed or whatever. So he's like, "Come to my house. I can really show you some shit."
Mhm.
So they go, and Ben explains to them how every 27 years a tragic event happens, and it's all connected to the old well house. One of my favorite jokes. Ben goes, "You know, Derry started as a beaver trapping camp." And Richie goes, "Still is, am I right, boys?"
That's such a good one. They hit us with back-to-back ones because this is the Backstreet Boy part that we were talking about earlier.
Not Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the
or
Block.
New Kids on the
Yeah.
Block. Sorry.
So Beverly's looking around his room, and she starts to close his door, and like on the side of the door that was like up against the wall is a New Kids on the Block poster.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo,
He's like,
Please,
please, bro, please stop.
please." So she's, and it does like a little music cue. Goes, "We're tough."
And then he's like, please. He's like, yo.
Yeah, like,
And
please,
because
hey.
all the kids are turned around, none of them sees it except for Bev. And so then Bev like slowly like closes it and like gives him like a little wink and is like, "Don't worry." Shit's funny as hell.
It's awesome. So they all disband. Eddie's on his way to his house, and he's walking past what is known as the knee bolt house.
Mhm.
His watch goes off. He drops his bills. He goes to start picking them up, and a leper comes in and picks one up for him
Mhm.
and tries to hand it to him. And like I said earlier, he's a hypochondriac, so this really freaks him out.
Yeah.
The leopard chases him around a little bit, and he gets to this fence. And as he gets to the fence, he turns around to see Pennywise in his clown form.
Mhm.
And he's like, if you lived here, you'd be home by now."
Hmm.
It is so fucking scary.
Yeah.
And then all the balloons pop and he's gone.
Mhm.
He's got like a whole like triangle formation of balloons.
Yeah, that one is cool. I like that.
It's spooky.
It is
Spooky scene. So we cut to Beverly. So her dad sees that she cut her hair.
That's when he says like,
He's
yeah,
here, you look like a boy and all this stuff. And
Yep.
she goes into the bathroom to cry. As she's crying, we hear voices come from the drain. She kind of leans in to listen a little more. And her hair that she cut previously comes out and like snatches her essentially.
Yeah.
It pulls her closer to the drain,
Mhm.
and a bunch of blood just starts spurting is not even a good word.
Yeah.
It's like a fire hose
Yeah.
of blood.
Just erupts from the drain.
Yeah, it erupts from the drain. And it gets everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She's screaming, and she finally gets loose, and she starts backing up. She backs up against the wall. Her dad comes in. He's like, "Yo, what's going on? What's all the fuss about?" He does not see the blood.
Mm-hmm. And it's completely covering the entire room.
Yeah,
Like it's covered her and her too. She's like up against like the side of the tub, and she's like the blood.
and he's like, "What are you talking about?" He can't see it.
He says the fucking weird shit that he says all the time, right there. The you worry me, Bev. You know that. He said he it's like another thing like of like Stan, like we're supposed to be having fun.
Yeah,
He says that one repeatedly a bunch.
yeah, he does.
He says it like 4 times.
It's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We then go to Bill's house at the same night.
Mhm.
He's in his room, chilling, and Georgie runs past his door.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "Oh my God, Georgie, that's my dead brother, or my missing." Bill firmly believes that
Yeah.
Georgie's missing and not dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he chases Georgie down to the basement. And he's in there, and he's like, "It's your fault," and all this shit. Like Georgie's blaming Bill for what happened.
Yeah.
Then you see that Pennywise comes up, and the basement's flooded, by the way, a little bit.
Yeah.
So Pennywise comes up from the water, puppeteering Georgie. It's spooky.
Yeah. Well, he's just what is that the
This is the "You'll Float Too" scene.
You'll Float Too? What is
Yeah.
You Lied and I Died?
You lied and I died. I don't know, just something to make him feel bad.
That's
Oh,
thi-
no, he
that's
lied
this
about
too.
being sick. Sorry.
That's
that's-
this too, though.
Yeah.
He says it during the scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that like that was the thing he was yelling the entire time, but now I know it's You'll Float Too, and I thought that was from something else.
You know, it's this.
Okay, so he just does that before.
Because Bill wasn't actually sick.
Mhm.
He wasn't. He just didn't want to play with Georgie.
Yeah.
And because of that, he's dead.
Right.
So Pennywise uses that against him. Pennywise tries to rush him, but he runs out. And Pennywise like fucking face plants on the steps.
Yeah.
And then slithers back in a really gross way.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So they all go to Bev's. And she's explaining to them, what she saw. And she's like, one of us has to stay, can keep watch in case my dad comes back. Because if he sees me in here with boys, he's going to freak out.
Yeah.
So Richie stays behind. And they all, in this scene, they're explaining how they all have seen shit except Richie. And he's like, what? Can only virgins see this shit?
Is that why I'm not seeing nothing?
Is that why I'm not seeing anything? So everyone else goes up there and they clean her bathroom to a really nice montage to the Cure song 6 Different Ways.
Mhm.
And Bev thinks that Bill wrote the poem.
Yeah.
So she tries to like, hey, January Embers. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
So we then cut to Mike, who we haven't seen in a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is getting harassed by Henry Bowers and the gang. I skipped the scene with Mike earlier.
Mm-hmm. His spook scene.
His spook scene, yeah.
Mhm.
Earlier in the movie, he's getting harassed again. Or sorry, he's dropping off meat because that's what he does. He drops off, because he works at this farm, he's going to drop off meat at this butcher shop, and Pennywise is there. That's it, essentially.
Yeah, he gets homeschooled, so he's not like initially part of the gang or nothing. But they know who he is because they see him around town because he gets on his bike, he delivers in the packages to the butcher, and the butcher gives him the money to go back to the farm.
And Henry Bowers and the gang are racist. Super racist.
Yes, they are.
And they do not want Mike
In their
In-
town.
in-
In their town
in,
is what they say.
in their town.
Yeah. Because he goes, stay the fuck out of my town. And then he flicks a cigarette at him.
Yeah.
Like from the top of the car. Because they almost run him over.
Yeah.
In that scene.
So in this scene, he was running meat with his bike,
Mhm.
and Henry Bowers and the gang are trying to shove his face into this raw meat.
Yeah.
And Mike sees Pennywise out in the field eating an arm. And he just waves the arm at him.
Yeah, like he's like waving to him, but like with like this fucking baby arm. It's so scary. It's gross. He's literally just having like a picnic.
And Ben, or Mike, sorry. Mike is just like, what the fuck is that? And then Beverly, Stan, Eddie, Bill, and Richie show up, and they kind of save him.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly beams a rock at Henry's head.
Yeah.
And then the rock fight breaks out. The loser club ends up winning. And Mike is inducted into what is now the loser club. Everybody's there.
Mm-hmm.
We now have an official losers club. They realize they've all had visions and that they are all seeing their worst nightmare.
Yep.
Except Richie. And like, Richie, what are you what are you afraid of? He's afraid of clowns.
Yeah.
So they go to Bill's garage to look at the map of Derry on a projector. And they see that the sewer system connects all of their like nightmares, everything they've seen.
Yeah.
And then the projector starts going fucking crazy. And it flashes back between pictures of Georgie and his mom. And then his mom slowly turns into Pennywise. And then a huge version of Pennywise jumps from the projector and tries to attack Richie. And then someone flicks on the lights and he's gone.
I love this is because this is the first time that Richie is seeing Pennywise.
Yeah.
And so in the back, he goes, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? He's freaking, like the whole scene, he's just screaming that over and over again. And the rest of the kids are screaming and he's like trying to grab somebody, being like, tell me what that is. That's so fucking scary.
I would be freaking out too.
I mean, yeah,
man.
of course. But like, it's just so funny how like 90% of the time that Richie's just on a different agenda. Like he just doesn't know quite as much. He is the audience. Which is so funny.
Anyway, they see that the Niebolt house is also kind of where the center of all this is. It's where...
Yeah, all the sewer systems connect there.
Yeah. So they go to the Niebolt house, and nobody wants to go in. And Bill gives this incredible speech that, if I'm allowed to, I'll play right now.
Go. Bill! Bill, you can't go in there. This is crazy.
Look, you don't have to come in with me. But what happens when another Georgie goes missing? Or another Betty, or another Ed Corcoran, or one of us? Are you just gonna pretend it isn't happening like everyone else in this town? Because I can't. I go home and all I see is that Georgie isn't there. His clothes, his toys, his stupid stuffed animals, but he isn't. So walking into this house, for me, it's easier than walking into my own.
Wow. What? He didn't stutter once.
It's awesome. It's a great scene.
Yeah.
So Bill, Richie, and Eddie go in.
What, bro?
Remember the joke for this scene. Nobody wanted to go in, so they drew straws.
Yeah.
And on the way in, the three come in, and Richie goes, "You know, like we were measuring straws and not dicks."
Oh yeah.
Oh, classic. So they go in and they follow a girl's voice, and they see Betty Ripson. Or vision of Betty Ripson. It's not actually her, asking for help, and then she gets dragged away. So they go to chase her, and as they're chasing her, Eddie hears a voice behind him. So he turns around, and he gets separated from the two others. And then the floor opens up behind him. A leper comes out, tells him to take this pill. He falls back, falls through the floor onto the first level, breaks his arm, and Loki passes out. Meanwhile, the two that are separated are in this room. So it's Bill and Richie goes into this separate room. The door closes on him, and it's a room full of fucking clowns, like clown statues. And a coffin. So Richie approaches the coffin, he opens it and sees a weird doll version of him with maggots all over it. So he shuts it. Pennywise jumps out. It was he say, beep, beep, Richie? Is that what he says?
Yeah.
And then he charges him.
Yeah.
But Richie gets out, and he's back in the room with Bill.
That scene is also one of the ones with other Pennywise in it. With a different Pennywise.
Correct,
in it.
yeah.
But that's
Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Yeah, that's the...
Is one of the statues. It's really nice.
I was going to say Tim Burton.
Nope. So Bill and Richie are in this room, and there are 3 doors that just show up. One says, not scary.
Mhm.
One says scary. One says very scary.
Yeah.
And then there's a mattress behind them where Eddie's head kind of pops out.
Yeah.
And he's like spewing black acid at them.
to play loogies?
Yeah, you want to play loogies? And he starts spewing hot acid.
Yeah.
And it starts like getting towards them, so they have to pick a door to go to. So they pick the, very scary one because they think it's going to be
No, they pick not very scary.
not very scary.
Yeah.
And it's Betty Ripson, right?
Yeah, it's Betty Ripson in
like
half.
in her top half.
Yeah.
Just hanging there.
The whole time, Richie's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
So then they go through the not very scary door and they get out.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, downstairs, Eddie comes to. A fridge in front of him opens up and he's all in there like contorted.
Yeah.
And he starts like crawling out all creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And he like twists his body up forward.
Yeah.
And he gets over Eddie and starts drooling because Eddie is so afraid.
Yeah.
And Pennywise feeds on fear.
Mm-hmm.
Horrifying scene. Richie and Bill get downstairs and they see Pennywise over Eddie and they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And Bill's like, it's not real. It's not real. Then Pennywise turns to him. He says, it's not real enough for you, Billy?
Yeah.
It was real enough for Georgie.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
Got him.
Fuck.
Got him.
Fuck. So Pennywise rushes Bill. But Beverly comes in the house and saves the day with a piece of the iron fence and stabs him through the head.
Yeah. Ugh, I hate the noises that Pennywise makes during this. Yeah, like the weird, like weepy, cryy shit is so unsettling.
Yeah. So throughout all this, Pennywise is trying to like defend himself from the kids. He grows out werewolf claws and gets bent. Poor Ben.
Ben just keeps getting sliced.
Yeah, he does. He does. Poor guy.
Yeah.
And while this is happening, he's like backing up and he takes a bow
Mm-hmm.
and vanishes down the steps. Bill tries to chase him and he sees that the well house, the well from the well house is in that basement.
Yep.
And he's like, that's it. That's the well. And then cuts to outside and Eddie's mom is freaking out.
Yeah,
on
because
them.
his arm's been
Like,
broken.
this is because of you guys. And she like blames him for what happened, essentially. And all the kids get into a screaming match.
Yeah.
Bill punches Richie, and they all disband for a few months. Time passes. Through the "Dear God, I hope you got the-"
Yeah. To that banger.
to that banger of a song, we get a like montage of them all doing their individual things. Flash forward to August. I think a month goes by. Henry Bowers is about to shoot a cat with his dad's gun. His dad's a sheriff, by the way.
Yeah.
His dad stops him,
Oscar.
takes the gun, starts shooting the ground at him,
Mhm.
around him.
Quote incoming.
Go ahead.
Do you have it written down?
No.
Oh, his dad then like shoots like and like around him a little bit, like he said, and then Henry is fucking like literally like cowering in fear, like his hands are over his eyes and face, and he's scared as shit, and then like he's shaking and all, and like his friends are around him, and then his dad looks at the friends and says, "There's nothing like a little fear to make a paper man crumble."
That's right. Yeah.
Hard.
Woo. So, Henry's distraught with his friends. He sees a red balloon at his mailbox, so he goes to it. He opens it, and it's the knife that he lost earlier. Henry then sneaks into his house. His dad's asleep on the sofa. And on the TV, we see like this kids' TV show host
Mm-hmm.
telling him to kill his dad.
Yeah.
What is it? Make it a great day, Henry. Kill him.
Yeah. And then all the kids start chanting.
Yeah. So he sticks the knife. The blade's not out, but he sticks the knife up to his neck.
Yeah.
And then he not retracts. It's the opposite of retract.
Yeah.
The blade comes out
Yeah. He clicks
into his father's neck.
Yeah.
Blood spews all over Henry's face, and his father dies. And then he looks at the TV, and we see them all chanting, "Kill them all, kill them all." And Pennywise is there now.
Mm-hmm.
Super intense. So Pennywise is essentially telling Henry to kill all of the kids.
Yeah.
Eddie goes to the pharmacy to get his prescription. Greta, who we know from earlier, the pharmacy daughter, explains to him that the pills that he are taking are placebos and they don't actually work.
Yeah. His mom's just hopping him up.
Yeah, his mom's getting into his head.
Yeah.
We then cut back to Beverly's and her dad's house. They get into an argument.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
a creep.
And he's getting real physical. Like he's about to sexually assault her.
Mm-hmm.
So she locks herself in the bathroom. He breaks in. She grabs like that lid on top of the toilet.
Yeah.
The one, it's like not the toilet seat, but the
tank cover.
the tank cover behind it. She smacks him with it, knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
And as she turns away, this part scared the shit out of me the first time I watched it. I remember as she turns away to leave, Pennywise is there and just grabs her, takes her down to the sewers. Bill runs over to Bev's. He basically just breaks into the house essentially. He goes in, sees Dad knocked out, and sees "You will die if you try" written on blood on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows what's up. So Bill rounds up the Losers Club, and they're all a little hesitant at first, but they come through.
Yeah.
And during this whole roundup scene, Eddie is yelling. He gets into an argument with his mom. He tells, "It's all bullshit, Mom.
Yeah.
These are gazebos." The first time, I laughed my ass off the first time I watched that shit.
That was so
That shit
funny
hit it hit. I laughed. It got
These are gazebos.
They're bullshit.
He just throws them on the ground.
Yeah, and storms out.
Yeah.
And she like tries to chase him, crying, but she's a heavier set woman, so she's like real slow.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucking Henry Bowers follows them.
Yep.
All the way to the Nebo house.
Yep.
They all meet at the Nebo house. They all start rappelling down the well.
Mhm.
Mike is the last one up there, which is unfortunate because we all know that Henry hates Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So Henry attacks Mike. He grabs the bolt gun. I think a bolt was already fired though, wasn't it?
I think that he
No,
barely
that's it. I
misses
got it.
him.
I remember. Yeah. So he puts the bolt gun up to Mike's head. Mike dodges. He shoots. The bolt comes out. Mike grabs a rock, slams it against his head.
Yeah.
Henry backs up, and then Mike chucks him into the well.
Yeah, he fucking form tackles him.
Gone. My man Henry is down
Yes.
deep in that well.
Yeah.
So Mike kind of continues on. Meanwhile, down in the depths of the sewer, Beverly wakes up to a performance from Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
Mm-hmm.
It's iconic. He dances for her.
Yeah.
And she tries to run away. He jumps from his stage all the way over to her and grabs her. And she's like, "I'm not afraid of you." And he's like, "Oh, you will be." And then his mouth does the unhinged thing, and we get to see the deadlights for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
which are kind of what controls this entity.
Yeah.
And they put Beverly in this weird trance where she floats, her eyes go white, and she's just incapacitated.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. Meanwhile, somewhere up above her in the sewer, Stan gets attacked by the portrait lady. And all the kids shine their lights on her, and she freaks out and goes back into the storm drain. She pops back out. Oh, she's Pennywise again. Wow. And Stan is freaking out on them. He's like, "This happened because you guys left me alone. This wouldn't have happened if you guys didn't leave me alone," which they didn't do.
Yeah.
So while they tend to Stan's wounds, because he got bit in the face,
Yeah.
Bill sees Georgie and chases him deeper into the sewer. Bill gets to that section where Beverly is. He sees her floating, but he decides to continue to chase Georgie. He's like, "Yeah, I'm fuck you, Bev. My missing brother's right here." He then looks up and sees all of the floating dead kids
Mm-hmm.
that Pennywise has claimed. It's fucked. So the rest of the squad gets there. They see Beverly, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're going to help Beverly.
Yeah.
We're good people."
Yeah.
They pull her down.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, wake up, Beverly. Please, wake up, please. And he decides just to kiss her.
And then
then
I just love that like the kids in the background are like,
Oh,
like, what
dude.
was
Like,
that?
What the fuck? But then Beverly wakes up.
Yeah.
And she goes, "January embers." And then Ben says, "My heart burns there too." Real sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Real sweet. So Bill and fake Georgie are having this talk down. This almost showdown, I guess. Bill knows it's not Georgie.
Yeah.
So he takes the bolt gun
Mm-hmm.
and he shoots
Yeah.
Georgie in the
It's an emotional scene
Yeah.
of that whole talk. It's basically like, like you said, he knows that it's Pennywise, but he's just kind of using it to get his last words to Georgie out before he does that.
Yeah.
So like he's
apologizing.
yeah, he's apologizing.
He's apologizing, and Georgie's like, "It's all your fault." And then he's like,
Georgie's like, I want to go home. And he's like, I would love nothing more for to bring you home.
"But you're not
Georgie.
And then he pulls out the bolt gun
Yeah.
and shoots Georgie.
And he commits to the whole thing. Like Georgie's like,
Like, no, please, Bill, please. And then bop.
Yeah.
And for a split second there, I was like, that may have been Georgie.
Well, because then he falls on the ground and
And just
doesn't
lays
move.
there. He doesn't move.
And there's like this really long, like awkward thing where like, ooh, that might have been. And then right in the middle of your thought,
he starts jolting.
he starts shaking.
And his arms start extending
Yeah.
and turning clown-like, and he turns back into Pennywise. It's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So as he's turning into Pennywise, he holds up the bolt gun to his head, and Mike's like, "Hey, it's not loaded.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything." But the fact that Bill believed it was loaded, it actually did damage to Pennywise. And that was kind of our first inkling of you have to believe you can defeat him to defeat him, which comes into play in the second movie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that Pennywise was pretending.
No,
I thought that he was pretending to like give like a little a more confidence to them, and then he was gonna go fuck them up.
no, that actually hurt him.
Okay,
That actually hurt his ass because he believed it.
Yeah,
it did. A fight breaks out essentially between the kids versus this demented clown.
Yeah.
Pennywise ends up getting a hold of Bill, and he tries to make a deal. He's like, "Hey, if you leave me with Bill, I will let you go, and you can live a long, happy lives."
Mm-hmm.
And Richie, for a second, you think Richie's like, "Yeah, let's leave Bill."
This is my favorite
And he's like,
part of the entire movie.
"You made us go through these sewers. You made us do all this shit. And now I got to kill this fucking clown."
Yeah.
And he starts swinging on Pennywise. Meanwhile, Pennywise is shapeshifting into all their fears in like a really like weird sequence where like whoever hits him, he turns into their fear.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
They back him up into another drain pipe. He's hurting.
Yeah.
He's hurt. He's getting his ass beat. He's like spitting.
Mm-hmm.
There's like water rushing out of this man's mouth for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
He's like spitting up shit. They back him up against this pipe. He does like a little backflip back. He's hanging onto the pipe and he says one word: fear. And he just disintegrates like a fucking Thanos snap.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. Dead. Not really. But he's at least gone for now.
Yeah.
So they all go up and they all make a blood oath saying, if he ever comes back, they will too.
Right.
So this really sweet moment where they're all sitting there and the scene kind of starts fading and each kid kind of fades away. And it's just Bill and Bev. And they end up sharing a little sweet little kiss. And the movie ends.
Yep.
That's it, chapter 1.
That's it, chapter 1.
Yeah. I love this movie.
I loved this movie. And on my rewatch of the first one, I started getting bored.
Really?
I'm not going to lie. It did not have the rewatch value that I wanted it to, which disappointed me. Obviously, it still had its great moments and like there was a lot, but like I think it might have had something to do with I know where all the good scenes are. So every other thing is me waiting for the good scene.
That's totally it.
So the rewatch of this one, not great. So I'm going to, off initial impressions, when I first saw the movie, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I always rate things so high, because 90% of the movies we watch on here is my first time watching them.
Definitely.
So I'm not waiting for the shit that I remember. Because it shows, and like just super quick, not going into it too far, the second one, I didn't remember as much. So I enjoyed it more. So, but on the first one, yeah, it was fine. I have issues with Child Beverly. I think she's annoying. And I thought she was annoying when I saw the movie the first time.
Right
like,
on.
She has like, it started right in the beginning when she says, when she like signs Ben's yearbook, and she's like, huh, you're the new kid. Like, just like, it's such Disney Channel lines, and I just have like such an issue with it. And like, I really like was like, wow, I watched all of it, and Beverly's still the biggest clown in this fucking movie.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Overall, fantastic movie. I have my quarrels with it on a rewatch. I don't think it has the rewatch value that I wish it had.
It doesn't. It definitely doesn't. Off the first time I saw it, I would have given it a 9 out of 10.
10.
Right now, it's a 7.
That's exactly what my ratings were going to be as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I had only seen It Chapter 1 when it came out. We had worked at a movie theater, and I saw it a bunch when it came out.
Yeah.
And I was in love with this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. Yeah. It just doesn't have the same rewatch value as it did.
When it first came out.
Going into It Chapter 2, I had not seen that movie a ton.
Yeah, that's exactly why I was like, oh, this is... It's keeping my attention a lot more.
Yeah. Because I couldn't remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of It Chapter 2, join us next week when we discuss It Chapter 2.
Yep.
That'll be in about 5 minutes for us here.
Yep. But we'll see you in a week.
We'll see you. You will see us. Hear us. Whenever you hear, you listen,
Yeah. Here.
you watch, you consume.
Yeah. You consume. However you consume our podcast.
Consume. 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 Have you ever seen They Live by John Carpenter?
No.
Oh, dude. I should add that to the list. It's a fucking crazy movie.
All right. Well,
I guess that's it for our
I guess
episode
that's
1 of
it.
season 2. Thank you so much for listening. Join us next week, like I said, for It Chapter 2. We've got a really fun season planned.
Yep.
We've almost got the whole season planned, actually.
almost, yeah. We're a lot more prepared this season. This is your first assignment for this year, for this school year, is to go watch It Chapter 2 before next Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah,
we
we're
are
on Mondays now.
we have episodes on Mondays instead of Tuesdays now. So be sure to remember that.
Yeah. So go ahead, do all the subscriptions. You know everything. And check out this sick fucking outro Mark made.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Creep It 100. If you like this week's episode, please feel free to rate, review, like, and subscribe to our show. These actions help the show get discovered, and they let us know how you feel. You may even get a special shout out on an upcoming episode. For the most up-to-date information, visit our website at creepit100pod.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter, play back any of our previous episodes, check out our community events calendar, and more. You can also follow us on our social media pages, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at creepit100pod. We also want to say thank you so much to all of our donors and sponsors who helped make this season possible. Because of your contributions, we were able to improve the production value of our show by purchasing new equipment. Your donations also let us continue with our production. And for that, we're extremely grateful. If you are looking for even more creepy content, including behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, and live recording sessions, you can join our premium Discord server. For as low as $5 a month, you can unlock exclusives you won't be able to find anywhere else and support the show while doing so. Check out our membership tiers and benefits at creepit100pod.com/discord. Join us every Monday for new episodes, and don't forget to creep it 100.